Hey, Danny Matta here with PT Biz and the PT Entrepreneur Podcast. And today I want to take you through something that, honestly, this is like a decade in the making for us. This is an assessment that we put together that is our clinic growth blueprint. And it's not so much the assessment, it's the information that lives behind it. So what this is, and why I wanted to address this is I think everybody that listens to this podcast should go and do this. And if you go to physicaltherapybiz.com, at the very top of the page, you can click on our clinic growth blueprint. And what this is 12 questions that go over 5 different dimensions in your business. And this gives you a very clear idea of what you're doing well, what the business needs to focus on going forward, and areas of improvement. It also gives you a 90-day roadmap of how to do that, as well as the amount of money that you can expect to change in the business if you implement these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through this. It takes literally a couple minutes, and then I'm going to show you an example of one that I do, so that you can get a better idea of what this looks like, and you can go through this yourself and get a really clear idea of what you need to work on. This is something that, honestly, I think is probably the most valuable thing that's completely free that we've ever put out. So that's why I wanted to walk you through this today. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, I highly recommend going to YouTube if you want to see how this looks, and as I go through the actual findings. If you're listening to this on the podcast and you're cutting your grass or you're going for a run, just go to physicaltherapybiz.com. Click at the very top of the page where it says Clinic Growth Blueprint, and you can go through your own assessment. So here's what it looks like. So the first question is, how many treating providers do you have? So, and this goes between just you and 5 or more, like if you have a big clinic. So let's just say we have 2 providers in this example. So how are you currently pricing your services? Pick, right? So it's like a multiple choice example. Let's say that you are doing a visit-based package. A lot of people are doing that, 6, 10, 12, kind of in that range. How many evaluations does your clinic do per month? So if there's 2 of you, let's say you're doing okay there. Maybe you're getting somewhere between 5 and 10 per provider. Let's say that you have 11 to 20. What's your revenue range? Let's say you have 2 providers and you're doing pretty good there. Between your 2 providers, you're between 45 or 25 and 40 grand a month. Average revenue per visit, if you're tracking this. So some of this is stuff that we expect people to track that we work with. If you don't know what this is if you take the amount of money that you generated, you can look at this over a 1 month to 12 month period, the longer the better, and then divide that by number of sessions that you saw. That gives you your average revenue per visit. So, if let's say you are kind of in the middle here of where most people that we start to work with are somewhere around 125 to 150 per visit. So let's go ahead and we'll use that as this answer. % of patients complete their full plan of care. This is the one that I think most people actually do not track at all, and is one of the more important variables. So very few people convert or complete your entire plan of care. You may think that they do, but just because they leave and don't come back doesn't mean that they completed your plan of care, especially if you're doing packages of visits. So let's say you're probably somewhere between 30 and 50%. All right, what happens after they finish? This goes into continuity. Do you have anything formal, informal? A lot of people have kind of informal. We'll check in occasionally. That's what a lot of people do. How many hours per week do you personally spend treating patients? So if there's 2 providers, you're probably spending quite a bit. You're probably somewhere between 21 and 30 hours, right? So you're still doing a lot. How often do you review your clinic's finances? Around tax time, we'll give you that. Most people do that. What's your payer mix? Let's just say this example, they're 100% cash, although it could be whatever you want. And then what's the thing that you think is holding you back? More financial clarity and hiring. So we'll put that in as what my problems are. And let's just say I'm going to send this to myself. So I'll go ahead and put all my information in here, and I'll get the results sent to me, and then we'll come back and we will go through part 2 where I go through the actual results. All right, so I got the results to my assessment, and this is the page that you will land on after you go through. So it'll tell you the estimated annual revenue that you are losing out on. It's going to give you a score from 0 to 100. And then also it gives you an idea of what areas you are doing pretty well in and what areas you need to focus on. Gives you this sort of plot diagram of where you're at as well. You can kind of visually see what areas you're doing pretty well in and what areas you could really make a massive difference. Like you can tell here, retention is the biggest one, the lowest patient retention and lifetime value. This is the lowest one in the score. And this actually is what makes up the vast majority of this big number. Because if you remember, we picked that this was between $25,000 and $40,000 a month in revenue for this clinic. So this is actually getting close to doubling that clinic based on the IP that we put behind this. And remember, this is based off of over a decade of running these clinics. The amount of information that sits behind this is extensive. We've written 2 books on this. We've literally worked with over 1,000 clinics. We've done over 5,000 coaching calls. Put that in perspective for a second. So all of the information behind this isn't just what Harry Potter, group are you in? Are you a Hufflepuff or are you freaking Slytherin? This is literally backed by over a decade of work and over 5,000 coaching calls with people. So the information you're going to get is pretty dang accurate and it's pretty cool. So I'm going to show you what this looks like, right? So this is my assessment. This is Danny Clinic, right? So this is a PDF version that you can download. And what it's going to do is going to give you an idea of what you need to work on, what you're doing well, and what you can expect as far as what that roadmap looks like over a 90-day period. So if you want to implement this, is exactly what you're going to do. So I'll give you an idea what this looks like. These are the different areas within this. So your clinic health, what you're doing right, areas that you can improve. So your gaps, revenue leak analysis, 90-day growth roadmap, and then where clinics end up and your next steps. So here we go again with these 5 different dimensions. You can see this on the plot diagram that we have, but also you can see it here. And blue is like you're doing okay. Orange, not so great. Red's bad. Green would be you're doing really well in an area. So we're seeing here, number 1, retention and LTV is a big one. This is a huge one we see for a lot of people. If you don't have some sort of structured continuity offer, you're leaving just an astronomical amount of money on the table as a cash or hybrid practice, especially a insurance practice is trying to add cash revenue. I think this is the most pivotal place to start, because once someone's done with their plan of care, this is where you can add on cash-based recurring revenue, it actually solves 2 problems at once. So anyway, it's not just necessarily for cash-based clinics. I think this works phenomenal for in-network clinics that are trying to move more to hybrid. Okay, what are they doing pretty well? All right, well, you've built 2 providers. That's a big deal. That's a hard thing to do in a cash clinic. And then, you're still at management level. So you're still seeing a decent number of patients, but you're not seeing a full-time caseload. So you've started to work your way out, which is a good thing. The gaps. Okay. So number 1, financial clarity. You're not looking at your numbers enough. I said I was looking at around tax season. That's not great. You're running a per visit model. So we found that a outcomes-based model versus a per visit model is actually a more effective way to run the sales process on a number of levels. Number 1, it increases your average revenue per provider, but also it increases the likelihood that someone moves over to a continuity offer. So it increases recurring revenue after initial plan of care is done as well. So this is a big area that most people would want to address. So say in some specific types of clinics, this visit-based model works better, but in most of it, we found an outcomes-based approach is frankly a better offer for most people in most niches that we work with. The third thing would be that there's no continuity revenue in place, because you're essentially just, they're coming back when they want to come back. There's no structure there. You're not leading to a secondary sale. You don't have the lifetime value that you would have if you had something proper in place. And this right here accounts for around 6 figures in revenue annually with just these 2 providers. I mean, that is very conservative, honestly, in my opinion, from what I see, because this is going to be revenue that comes in every single month. You don't have to go out and get it. It doesn't cost you anything to acquire it. And people that stick around in your clinic, they're also far more likely to refer you other people. So there's a lot of reasons why this makes a massive, massive difference. Okay, so continuity is huge. And then the last thing would be that you're probably too busy at this stage. Hard for you to hire and onboard somebody else because you're juggling a lot, still seeing a high amount of patients, still managing everything yourself. This is a tough stage, and you got to work yourself out of some of this in order to be able to have the time to really scale and grow your clinic up from there. So this is the third thing that it catches. And if this sounds like you, like, it's probably because like I said, this is all based on actual work that we've done with, so many clinics. This isn't fabricated. This is literally like what we tell people on an ongoing basis, and the numbers we see around it, the bottlenecks people get stuck, and the revenue changes that we typically see with them whenever we help them get unstuck, right? So this is what we're assuming that the revenue loss is, a little over $250,000, primarily coming from plan completion, so the way you're setting up your initial sales process, and then continuity. Okay, so as you look at that, really that makes up the bulk of this. This is your sales process in a nutshell, your entry sales process and your exit sales process, which would be your continuity offer, which most people have nothing here, and they're basically not tracking completion, and they're running a traditional visit-based model. So all of this combined can lead to, for sure, $20,000 in revenue a month that you're just you're leaving on the table. So what are you going to do? Okay. So for the next 90 days, here's your growth roadmap, right? So you're going to audit your last 30 completed patient plans. So the last 30 plans that came through, see who actually completed or not. So the last 30 patients that you had, did they actually complete? And you'd probably be surprised as to what happened, okay? You're gonna run a reactivation campaign to your list, which maybe you haven't done in a long time, to get people back in as you fix your sales process. You're gonna document your current offer structure in writing. So get this down for what your offer currently is, so you have a very clear idea of that SOP within your clinic, especially stages like this where you are, you're about to hire somebody else, okay? From here, you're going to transition to an outcomes-based plan. Now, this is hard to do. Some of this stuff, I would not recommend you try to do this on your own. This is a difficult thing to do correctly. This took us about a year of testing to really dial in the right way to go about doing that, but this makes a huge difference. You're going to launch a continuity offer to your current active patients. So you're going to start selling a continuity offer in place. This is month 2 to your current patients to try to move people over to an ongoing either visit or a couple visits with you, or some sort of internal training program that you have. There's a lot of different continuity offers you can have. This depends the right fit for yourself. You're going to set up weekly revenue dashboards that you're going to look at for specific KPIs that you want to be able to see in your business. You're going to look at this every single week so you can stay on top of it. The third part, you're going to define your hiring threshold in writing. So you're going to define who you're looking to hire, what you want as far as your hiring specifics go, to then make sure you get the right hire in place. You're going to build your provider onboarding SOP. So whatever you did with your first provider, make sure that it is repeatable. You have it documented. You can build this out in project management boards. You can build this out in Excel sheets if that's what you want to do. But make sure that you have steps in place so that you're not just sort of recreating the wheel every single time. And you're going to get your financial statements reviewed by someone who understands this. This could be somebody that is, your CPA, somebody who financially understands stuff. It could be somebody on our team, somebody that actually knows what they're looking at to see where you're at, okay? So this is sort of your 9-day marching orders based on the assessment that I did. And again, if you're listening to this, I'm going through this and in the video version so you can see what this looks like. So we lay this out really clearly, right? So here's a couple examples of a few people that we've worked with that have made sizable changes in their business by implementing things like this as well. And, if it makes sense for you, and this is something that you look at this and you're like, cool, I know exactly what to do. I'm gonna go do it on my own. Great. That's why we put it in place. We want to provide as much value as we possibly can. If you look at this and you say, this makes a ton of sense, but I really want some help implementing my growth strategy, we should have a conversation. You can click the link here, get on a call with our team, and we'll look through exactly what you need to implement. We will let you know if this is something that we feel like we can help you with, how long that will take, what that looks like, your best options as far as that goes, and exactly what we see with people in your same shoes and what they've been able to do as well. We've had thousands of conversations with clinic owners to really, the ones that we haven't even worked with, to go through these discovery calls. So we really want to make sure that you understand what you've got yourself into as a business owner. If it makes sense to work together, then we can always talk about what that entails and what that looks like as well. So I highly recommend go try out our Clinic Growth Blueprint. This is, like I said, the best free resource we've ever put together. There's a lot that goes behind this. This is literally a decade of work and intellectual property and things that we've figured out the hard way that we have put into this so that we can really give you an advantage. I wish I would have had this, 10 years ago, when I was getting going. It would have been such a big help. And I hope this helps you. Get your Clinic Growth Blueprint. Check it out. There's great information in there. It's to be very specific to your clinic. And as always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll catch you in the next one.